Hi everyone, and welcome to a new session with Code with Sally. The session usually run every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, unless there is something I will announce before the session timing. So it would be great if you join the Code with Sally page on LinkedIn to get notification about the events. Or if you would like to join our Slack community for Code with Sally, send me a message and I will send you the link so you can join. Today's session is very interesting topic. We'll continue our discussion in exploring together invocable methods. So if anyone missed the previous videos, you will find in YouTube channel, we have a Code with Sally channel. If you go to the intermediate series, sort the videos from latest to newest, you'll find that we have been talking for a while now about the invocable methods and how we can use them. So far, we learned together what are invocable methods, how they worked. We saw together how we can use them and how they need to be bulkified to be able to be used in record trigger flows. And we saw auto launch flow, and last time we built together an interesting screen flow, and we had a follow-up video to show you an enhancement that is coming in winter 26, so you can use directly a list of apex defined variables as starting from winter 26. So anyone who missed the previous videos, it would be good to go ahead and start with them first to get your knowledge strong about the basics of invocable methods. Today is an interesting topic because we'll continue talking about the invocable method, but we'll start exploring another usage for them. And you can tell from the image, it will be related to Agentforce and AI capabilities in Salesforce. So specifically, we'll be learning together how we can use invocable methods with prompt templates. If anyone has any question during the session, please raise your hand, ask your question, or post your question in the chat. I will keep an eye on it so we can all be on the same page and enjoying the session and learning together. So as I mentioned, we have been working through the series since we started the intermediate about the invocation of Apex and where we can invoke it. And recently we started invocable method as type of Apex invocation. And we saw together how we can call it from flows. So invocable method can be called from flows. That's something we covered. We learned together as well. We can call it from prompt template, and that will be the focus of today's session. And I think we won't be able to finish everything I want to show you regarding invocable methods and prompt templates today. So mostly we'll have more sessions to come regarding prompt templates. And in the future, we'll see how we can use invocable methods from Agentforce actions as well, and how we call it from REST. Calling it from Apex, we saw it together, and we can have a quick refresher at the end because it's more likely like any regular utility method. It's a static method. You can call it with a class name, but we can have a refresher at the end when we are covering the rest. But today's session is mainly focused on prompt templates and how we can use invocable methods from them. So the point is, my initial thought was to jump in and work together on the invocable method because we are not focused on teaching prompt templates and prompts in the session because it's not pure coding. But I thought it would be a nice idea to give you some knowledge and some explanation so it's easy to follow along. We won't be diving deep into each concept in very detailed manner like as we usually do with Apex, but we want to cover, so because you will hear me saying prompt, you will hear me saying grounding, prompt template, prompt builder, prompt template types, hallucination, merge fields and Apex grounding, LLM. So all of those are keywords when someone will start learning about Agentforce and AI capabilities. You'll start hearing people talking about them. And in my opinion, sometimes people feel overwhelmed if they don't know the difference of each term. So today we'll try as much as we can to give you a good idea on what it means each of those keywords. So it's easier for you to understand when you're reading or implementing Trailhead modules, or if you're talking with someone else, so it's easier for you to follow. So let's start. And again, if you have any questions anytime, please stop me. So what is a prompt? That's the first keyword and the simplest one to understand. Prompt is a one-time question that you will ask the AI or the large language model. LLM is large language model, and LLM means the AI tool you are using. So it can be ChatGPT, Gemini, any other tools you have. So you are working with any LLM, ChatGPT, Gemini, and usually you type a question. So for example, I can say in Gemini, tell me what to do tomorrow. And I can wait and get answer. I can tell you what you have planned for tomorrow unless you ask me to look at your calendar. So that's the response it gave me. And sometimes you notice when you are not very specific, and you send the prompt to LLM, it can sometimes decide to give you an answer. And when it gives you an answer, that's the response coming back from the LLM. And when the LLM or Gemini or ChatGPT sends you back a response, and sometimes it gives you random answers or random data, like um, give me sample beach names. Sometimes it will start giving you, for example, here, some beach names in Brazil or USA or Australia, like different beach names. And maybe I am visiting Mexico and I want to know very specific beach names to visit if I'm in Mexico. So if I'm in Mexico and I want to get beach names, when I type a question, that's the prompt that I'm giving the LLM. LLM is the AI tool that I'm using. In our case here, it's Gemini. It gave me 10 names, but you notice maybe just two out of the 10 are relevant to what I really care about. What are the beach names in Mexico? So that's what we call sometimes when you get details or response from the LLM with data that is not correct or what you wanted to get, that means it's doing uh, um, hallucination and it giving you wrong answers. And that's on you mainly because we didn't give it specific details. Like I can say, give me a sample beach names to visit while I am in Mexico, for example. So now I give it more context and I told specifically that I am in Mexico and I want beach names in Mexico. So it started to give me multiple beach names to visit and more detailed response, better response, and based on what I gave. So what's the difference between what I just did, between give me sample beach names and here? I gave it more context. So I gave more details saying I am in Mexico. So I'm interested only in Mexico beach names to visit. So in general, a prompt is what's the question you are sending or the text you're sending to an LLM. What is an LLM? LLM is the large language model you are using, which AI tool you are using. So here I'm using Gemini. You can be using ChatGPT or other tools as well. If you the more, for example, Mexico can be very big and staying in specific area. So if I give more details, the response will be different because I specify in a specific area in Mexico, so it won't give me a beach that is 6 hours away, for example. It will give me better response. So the more you write better prompts and better questions, the response will be better. And if you watch as well with us, like when we were working with Code with Sally here, at some point we had Agentforce for developers, and we saw together how writing a prompt to Agentforce for developers can give me different responses based on the details and the context that I give. And we saw how we gave the prompt context to a custom object we had, or class that I want to mimic the style. So the more details and context you give to the LLM, the better the response is. So that's in general. The good thing within Salesforce and Agentforce, there is AI capabilities where you can send prompts and questions to LLM of your choice within the safety of Einstein Trust. Einstein Trust, you will hear people talking about it. You can read more about it in details, but the simple idea of Einstein Trust that it make sure that we are not sending PII data, like personal details, to the LLM. So if you have, for example, account name, customer email, customer address, postal code, like you may be saying, like, I'm working with this customer, and this is their full name, and this is their address, and this is their postal code. What's the shortest path to take to arrive or to deliver an order for them, or how long will it take to deliver an order for them. So sending this to the LLM is risky. Like if you take this information and you put it in ChatGPT on your own, that's risky because ChatGPT can be training on the data you're sharing, user like someone's name, address. So it's very specific personal information. When you do this within Salesforce and the prompt is sent to the LLM, the Einstein Trust makes sure to mask any personal information before sending to an LLM. So we are not sending personal information that identify a certain person to the LLM and send it to the LLM. And there is more like checking the response that there is no toxicity and unmask the personal details to make sure that the response is valid or relevant to the user. So in general, using LLM and ChatGPT or other AI functionality within Salesforce is secured by their Einstein Trust. And there is a lot of details about the Einstein Trust and its benefit, but that's briefly the importance of the Einstein Trust and why it's safer to use it within Salesforce, because you need to add context and your context is coming from Salesforce. You want to make sure you are not sharing data. Einstein and Salesforce has an agreement with the LLM tools not to save or store customer data or data sent to the LLM, so no training on your data as well. So it's secure, and there is the Einstein layer that make it more secure. Okay, so you heard me saying will be adding context. Like here, I said I'm visiting or I'm in Mexico. That's a context. We will be using another word, and you will hear me saying will be grounding our prompt. Grounding our prompt is kind of dissimilar as adding context. So it's adding context to the prompt using Salesforce data, because we are within Salesforce. You have your account, address, email. You have, for example, a contact, their interest in a certain activity. They like certain colors. They do prefer, have some allergies, stuff like that, that can help you. If you add such details to the prompt, and this data to your prompt sent to the LLM to generate the response for you will give you better results. So adding context to the prompt is called grounding. So its importance and why we do grounding and why we do grounding is because we want to make sure that the response coming back from the AI model is very relevant and it match exactly what you're looking for. And that we minimize any hallucination coming back from the LLM, because the more you add grounding and you put rules in place that you instruct the LLM if some information is missing, don't assume values or don't send me random data. That's very important. And that's what grounding is, to add context. Where will be the grounding coming from? If anyone used email templates, you may be familiar with the keyword merge fields. Merge fields means like I can have contact and I say contact.name, and we inserted as a merge field in the email template to display the contact name. The same, we can use merge fields when we are writing prompts to insert data from Salesforce from a certain object. Again, not everything is available or easy accessible through merge fields. So we can be grounding our prompts using flow data, like we can call a flow to do some query, some collecting some data and return the values to the prompt, or through Apex. So when we say I will be grounding using Apex, that means I will be calling an Apex invocable method to do some action or to collect some data and return it to the prompt. And everything we'll see it together today as well. Unless we run out of time, we will continue next time. So again, grounding, you can think about it as simple as we are feeding the AI the right facts to give us the right answers. If we don't ground it and we don't give the AI the right facts, as simple as this scenario, give me beach names without saying where I am. It resulted in, yes, nice beach names in different countries, but I'm in Mexico, so it gave me just two relevant. And maybe if I ask the question again, I will get none, and it will be in different countries, none of them in Mexico. So grounding is very important to make sure LLM is returning the right data. And if you watch again, like the Agentforce for developers, you will see that at the time we highlighted the importance of giving like the context to the prompt, what's the custom object we are working with, so it can return the right fields. And when we didn't do that, when we tried to generate a SOCL, it assumed field names and returned for me random API fields names that we don't have in org, and what was causing issues. When we grounded the prompt, we got the right SOCL. So grounding in general, whether you're writing your prompt within Salesforce AI capabilities or even in your day-to-day using any LLM tool, ChatGPT, Gemini, or others, grounding means adding context and giving more details to get the right answers. Okay, let's move on. The next thing that we want to know what it means, prompt template. We learn together what is prompt, and that's the question you will send to the LLM. What is prompt template? Um, Let me remind you quickly, like when we worked as well with here the Agentforce for developers, we took our time writing good prompt and good question to return for me what I want. And there was a question that was very useful. How can I store my prompt? Because writing a good prompt can take time and can take trial and error. You try something, it's working correctly for you. If you add more details, it's returning something more accurate, and so on. So at the time, we saw together, or we suggested that you can store your prompts that you're generating in code snippet. So we created a code snippet to store the prompt that we invested time in writing it with all its details in a code snippet, and we were able to reuse it again and again. Let me show you a quick example from what we did when we were working with Agentforce for developers in regards of the code snippet and how it would be useful. if you remember when we demonstrated together how to write prompt, and we played a lot like with writing some questions here and some prompts to the Agentforce for developers, and we experiment together, changing, adding more details, providing more context, what best practices we want to do. And we executed this in the Agentforce for developers, the dev assistant, and we got what we like. At the end, we wanted to save that. So, for example, we created some code snippets and we have it on GitHub if you want to go back and check it. Say, for example, this one, the prompt dynamic trigger handler. That one will give me like what's the object name as parameter that I can change. It's changing all over the text here. And we said like we can take it, copy, and then paste it here. The benefit of having the code snippet was that now if a team member and I will generate it and use it, I have rules here defined that says like how the trigger handler should be structured, the naming convention of the variables for the methods, what are the parameters, everything, what are the methods or the events we want to handle, and also to give the trigger and use a switch case in the trigger as a way to call the trigger handler we just created. So having this ready, like it didn't take me any time. I can take it, copy, and run it in my dev assistant and get the output. So we'll see how this will match or is super close to the idea of the prompt template and why we would need it. Again, keep in mind, prompt writing is not something that you do quickly and it's time consuming. And sometimes like you need to go through multiple iterations to get the output you are looking for. So testing is very important and you will have to go through iterations to make sure that it's doing what you are expecting and you don't need to add more instructions, more regulation, more guardrails to avoid any issues or to give more context like field names here or like more details in case of the prompt template. So being able to save our prompts, whether here in code snippet for the Agentforce for developers, or as we'll see now and discuss the prompt templates, is very important and time save, like it saves a lot of time for you on the long run. The same idea. Prompt template is a reusable instruction set for AI. So it's one prompt that you have written and you spend the time to enhance it because no one will write a very good prompt from the first go. You will try it, test it, enhance it, change the instruction in the prompt, or change the details you are giving the LLM in your prompt. Test it again. You like it more, but you want to modify something else. So it can be in multiple iteration until you're happy and satisfied with your prompt to do something specific for you. So once you reach this, it's a good idea to keep it somewhere that you can reuse it. So Salesforce give us something called prompt template. So this is where you would be creating, again, your perfect prompt that you like in with all the details, all the grounding that you want to do using merge fields, using flow, using Apex to make sure that you are grounding and generating a very strong and solid prompt. And that means as well, like when we said we'll save it in when we were working with Agentforce for developer, we said like having code snippet was very useful because I can create a prompt that will create for us very good structured trigger handler. And I have 4 developers with me in the team. I can share my code snippet with them. So each member in the team, when they want to create a trigger handler, we follow the same structure. And I spent time already to make it the right way in the right template we would love to all use. So if I'm sharing with them this template, then they can use it more than one time and we are always consistent. So the same, when you want to do send an email and create a template to send an email with a certain structure, if you every time you do it and you write it, maybe one time you will forget adding your email in the signature or phone number in the signature. Another time, someone will use a greeting, but they won't introduce themselves properly. So there may be inconsistency, but having a prompt template, at least we make sure that anytime someone is using is following the same template again and again for the same prompt, we spend time to enhance. Again, when we are writing prompt or prompt template in that case, we can ground it using mirror field, flows, and Apex. When we say grounding with Apex, that means we'll be calling an invocable method to get data and prepare it for the prompt and include it in the prompt before sending it to the LLM. And we saw it together, we will see it together as well. Where do we write the code snippet or the prompt template in that case? We saw together when we were writing the code snippet, we are using Visual Studio Code, and I showed you how to start a code snippet and the syntax to use the same. Here we want to store our prompt in a prompt template to be reused. So Salesforce generated or provided us with a tool called Prompt Builder, and it's an AI tool that you can create your prompt, ground it with the data you want, and store it as a template, and other people can reuse it. So when we say prompt builder, that's the tool where we'll be creating our prompts and storing our prompts. So that's the prompt builder. Prompt builder is the tool that we'll use to design and manage the prompt templates. Manage prompt templates will be from building the templates, you can choose which AI model you want to use with each template. Maybe someone will prefer Gemini in one template and feel the task that they're asking the template to do will work better with Gemini. Another time they want ChatGPT. So each template you tell Salesforce and define which model you want to use it with. And also you can be testing through the prompt builder your prompt template. And because as I mentioned, and you'll see it together, you cannot write the perfect prompt from the first go that does exactly what you want. It can be a trial and error, and it can be not just trial and error, it can be an iteration. You do something, you're happy with the part of it, another part you want to enhance it or change formatting for it or to do something about it. So within the prompt builder, you don't have to create the template, go use it, and then notice that you don't like it and go back. You can do that directly in the prompt builder by testing your prompt or the prompt template you just created and give it sample data and see the output and judge if you like it or not. So the prompt builder is the spot where we'll go to create, test, and choose the LLM we want to send this prompt to when it's executed or used. Now we learned a couple of words together. I want to put them like together in a process that makes it more clear for you. We learned about what is prompt. We discussed what is prompt template. And also we said we'll be using the prompt builder to create a prompt template. So the prompt builder is the AI tool that you will be using to create your prompt templates. So you will open a prompt builder tool and you will ask to create a new prompt template. When you create a new prompt template, and we'll see shortly what are the prompt template types, but you create the prompt template, and this is where you will be writing your prompt, your question, or your instruction to the LLM. And within the prompt, this is where you will be grounding your prompt with Salesforce data. And we just discussed together as well that you will be grounding your prompt, whether with merge fields from certain object, or you will be calling a flow within the prompt to collect some data and return some values for you. Or finally, you can be calling an invocable method for Apex. So let me show you quickly in the org. If you open the setup, and definitely we'll go through this next time together when we do the sample for the prompt template we'll be building and creating the invocable method. If you do search and enable Einstein, like there is steps before this one, but like when we reach the step that our org is ready, what you can do is that you can, from the search, look for prompt builder. So this is the tool provided by Salesforce. You will have here a list that will give you all the available templates you have currently. Some of them are standard that Salesforce is providing to us, and then you will have the custom ones that you will be building. When you want to create a new prompt template, you will click New Prompt Template, and this is where you have to choose what's the prompt template type that you will be using. And we'll discuss that shortly together now. And when you have an existing one, you can open it and edit it and save as a new template. And when you have here, you have a tab for it as a prompt, and we'll learn about the other tabs as well more next time when we build a template from scratch together. But you'll see that here I have a tab for the prompt. What's your prompt? What is your instruction that you want to send to the LLM? So you start typing what you want to do, what's the role of the template, what do you want to return, what's the operation or what you are looking for the LLM to do for you. So for example, in the example we'll see and build next time, we are generating an email. So I'm instructing the LLM to generate an email for me. I want the subject for the email, and then I'm grounding it with some merge fields, like what's the contact or that would receive the email, or I can be grounding it using Apex code as well. And we'll learn more about this next time when we are building the template together. So don't worry about it right now. We'll cover it in depth. So next, there is a lot, like at the beginning, we had only those four types of prompt templates. Prompt templates is prompt template types. It's specific types that Salesforce is providing or allowing us to use, and each of them will be accessible to be used in certain way or in different spots in Salesforce. So with the types, if I open my org, I will have types. If you open your working org, or your your project where your client org or customer org, you may have others. And why is that? It's based on the license and what you're allowed to use or available for you to use. So we cannot be talking or testing all of them. But those are like if you open any Salesforce training presentations, those are the main ones that they try to explain. So we'll focus mainly on those four and specifically on the sales email, field generation, and flex. So for the sales email, that's what we will try to demo today and see if we have the time to implement it together or not. The sales email is the template where you can prepare a prompt that will be sent to the LLM to generate an email that you can send to your customer or like your contact and use it within Salesforce. Again, each of those types, what makes it different is what you are allowed to send to this template and use what you are sending to it for grounding. So for example, the sales email has access to the user, you who are running the sales email prompt as the sender, and then you can send the email either to contact or lead. So that's another parameter that it can work with. And then it allows only one object you can relate it to. So you can choose a custom object or a standard object that it's related to. And we'll see it together in action. You can call it or use a sales email template from Flow, from the standard email generation that we'll see together today, from Apex, REST API, so multiple spots. The field generation, if you watch any of the Salesforce videos or presentations, you'll find this is where you go to a record lightning page and you have a star or asterisk next to a field and you click on it and use a template to generate text in that. And can be a summarization for this record, summarization for this record and other related records. It can be how you want to work and what's input. The inputs for this is different on the sales email. There is no user like the sender or recipient lead contact. It will be mainly the record you are working with. Again, you can invoke it from Lightning Record page, Flow, Apex, REST API. Record summary from the name. Again, it's to summarize a certain record. We won't be focused on this one. You can like watch other videos and see how it's working specifically. The other one that we can be looking at will be the flex, and that's the most like generic or the developers like to use mostly because it's not limited to user contact or lead in one object. You can have 5 objects working or sent to the template to be able to work with. Again, you can access it from Flow, Apex, REST API, and that's how you will be invoking this template. And we can see in future session as well, like a demo about the flex. So those are the main like templates that I saw people like whenever they explain it, they explain those 3 ones: sales, email, field generation, flex, and they reference the record summary. Again, based on the org you're working with and the license you have, which ones you will have. Like I created the data, the new data cloud and Agentforce developer orgs. I found that I have the field generation and flex available, but I didn't have the sales email available. So I had to create a playground from one of the Trailhead modules, and I will point it out to you to be able to demonstrate it for you today. So again, it depends on the org you're working with. Before moving on and going to the next concept or keyword that we want to explore together, let me show you quickly how each prompt template will make the inputs different. So if we click on the prompt template, new prompt template from the prompt builder, you'll find here you have a prompt template, and that's where you have to choose. So for example, we have here the sales email. And before choosing that, we have the case details now. And like it shows template name, API name, template description. Let's see when I choose the sales email. We have extra recipient and related object. As we mentioned, the recipient who will receive the email for the sales email can be either contact or lead. So this is where you choose. And you can choose one related object. So you can choose a custom or a standard object. It's really up to you. On the other side, like if we choose record summary or even field generation, I don't have anymore the recipient or the related object. I have the option to choose one object only that I can work with. Same if you choose flex, you don't have anymore the related object, recipient that we saw with the sales email or the object for the field generation. On here, we have that we can have up to 5 data sources because the flex can allow 5 objects to be working with them. And one of the parameters or like one of the types of the parameters they can be using is a free text. So sometimes you see in some demos, some examples, you may be passing a question for the prompt as well that you want like to include it. So it can be a free text that is passed, or it can be an object. You can choose what is the object you are working with. So up to 5 inputs here. So again, that's where you can see the different types. And based on your org and the licenses, the types will be different. But again, the type will control what are the inputs that the prompt can accept and also dictate if there is out of the box way to consume this prompt template. For example, the sales email, there is the email generation option. For the field generation, you can go next to a field and generate it if you have the dynamic forms enabled and the field linked to a prompt template. But for example, the flex, there is no out of the box way to call it. So you have to call it whether from Flow, Apex, or REST API. So it's really up to you which type, and based on the requirements and what you are trying to achieve, this is how you can decide, or you have to think first what type of prompt template you need to have. Next, we explained before like what is grounding, and we said like it's that we are giving the right context to the prompt to be able to generate the right response you're looking for and eliminate hallucination from the LLM. When we say apex grounding, that means we are using apex to prepare the data. Like it's not direct value you'll get from an object. You can be calling an invocable method that will go fetch data from multiple objects. I can be applying logic, doing specific calculation, doing formatting you would love to do, can do anything you want to do using Apex, and you can return a structured result to the prompt template. The structured result can be um, text in a format that you like to do, or I prefer myself to return, like I can be creating a class with properties to represent the data I want, and at the end I can serialize it into JSON. So to send back to the prompt a JSON structured data with the result I have from the Apex. So it's a preference. I saw people returning plain text, concatenating values, and I prefer myself using the JSON method. And today, like when we do the example today together, we'll see the prompt template, the invocable method returning JSON for a record class that I prepared. Again, when we say grounding with Apex, that means we'll prepare invocable method. Invocable method will feel more like normal invocable methods that we created in the past together. There is certain differences that we have to be careful with and mindful when we work with prompt templates and invocable method. We'll talk about them. But again, at the end, you will have or will be exposing prompt invocable method in the same way as when we went for the flow and we got the action, chose which invocable method we want to use. Here from the prompt template, when we create a prompt template, we'll be selecting the invocable method that we want to work with. So we'll learn together how to do it exactly today. So we have been talking. Let's demonstrate together what is the demo or the use case that we want to show you today. And we'll see after demoing and explaining to you how to get your org ready to follow along with the example. We'll see if we have enough time to start the implementation today or leave it till next time. So what I want to do is I have an org. I installed in it a package. I will tell you where to get it from. And I will show you the demo first. We'll be creating something like that, an email with the properties and the similar properties. So the use case we are assuming, I'm a realtor working in agency and I'm dealing with different contexts. And I was on the phone with someone and they told me I like the modern city living um, property. And we finished the call and we ended and he said like I would think about it if I want to um, come and see it in person. So what I want to do is I want to introduce myself and I want to show them details about the property that they thought that they are interested in, like to give them a brief, like where is it, the number of beds, the number of bath and image to give them a reminder. Then I want as well to see in my inventory of properties at the moment as a realtor, what other properties are in Boston and give them a list to tell them, okay, we have those properties as well that you may be interested in, and then give them a call for action at the end that I hope you like it and think about it. And if you want, please reach out to me and let's talk to um, schedule viewing for the properties. So that's the use case. Let's see it together in action. So I'm the agent or the realtor, and I have been working with Brad. So I want to create an email. Usually when we do here the email, like there is a question in the chat. The question was what type of template we'll be using. Will be a sales email template. And that's the first use case we want to show. The sales email template out of the box, you can be used from the email, sending an email proper like functionality here. Without the sales email template enabled or this feature to be enabled, you have to come and type the title, the subject. You have to come and say, hello, Brad, and then format your email and say, this is the property you like. Then you can put the image, the details about the property, and that will require from you to go, for example, to a second tab and open the property and get the details like how many bed it has, how many bath it have. Like you should have to get the details yourself and to be able to send it. Like you have to see how many beds, city, what's the price, and fill in your email. On top of that, we wanted to say, okay, I want to tell them also what other properties they have in Boston, for example, or the city where the the main property they are interested in exists. In that case, we'll tell them, okay, you have Boston. We want to see what are the other available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means if I want to create a table, I will have to go and insert a table and go to each property, open one by one here, and get the data and fill my email. And to be honest, not all the agents will be like doing their job properly, following the instruction that whenever there is an interest, then the details with the related or similar properties. So if we are using Einstein or like the sales email, you can use this feature, draft with Einstein. When you click on it, it will tell you, first you can type instruction, I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, as if you are writing a prompt from scratch, and you send it and will help you generate an output for you. But again, that means maybe I will write a template or write a prompt that will be different if Daniel write a prompt than Sam if he's writing the prompt. So we can have inconsistency. So to solve that, I created a prompt template that is of type sales email, and I have my instruction in it. It accepts, it has the user, my user, as the sender by default because I'm on the contact. So it knows that this is the contact. It's asking me what property it's related to. So I'm passing the city left and I will hit continue. That will go and will open the prompt template. Let me show you the template that I have and we'll be implementing it as well. Let me say here, prompt builder. And I have here a template called similar properties. So here, this is my prompt. And that's, you see, it's not a short prompt. It's not 2, 3 lines of prompt. Like it's detailed, have very specific. It has here merge fields. It has here apex grounding. So it has too many details written here. So that's why I'm saying like I cannot rely on each and every individual agent to be able to write the same prompt and that details over and over again. When we wrote the template, like let me show it again to you. So we clicked here. We said I want to draft with Einstein. I give it the template that we talked about in city living, and I will hit continue. When we hit continue, that goes and use the template that we are creating, resolve the merge fields, call the apex, return the data from apex, and then using Einstein trust layer. It will mask the data, send it to the LLM, get response, evaluate it, doesn't have any toxicity, valid. And you will see here, the subject got filled for me, explore city living and nearby option in Boston. And it introduced my personality to the reader of the email. And then it said, like, this is the property of interest. Created a nice card because I specified that in the template, included the image, got the details of the property. I didn't have to go back and forth opening each property and checking the details to fill it. Then I have here 1, 2, oops, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. What are my properties? So my properties got like the similar ones in Boston, got pre-populated for me with all their details, with pricing, images, and everything, and a nice signature at the end. So that gives everyone on the team consistency. If I open and generate again, I will have maybe the wording of like the introduction will be different. Maybe the wording of like the details at the end. Feel free to ask questions, reach out to me to create like start the viewing. Maybe those will be different from what I will get, or Daniel, Sam, Mary, anyone who's running the prompt will be different. But at the end, we'll have the main structure the same, introduction, then list me in the property that main property that they are interested in, then the similar. If I open and I want to send them, but their main interest with another one, let's say I will do stunning Victorian and I'll generate it. It will maybe stunning Victorian. It's not in Boston, so it will go get me the similar properties in another city and display it to me. So let's see the output. And at the end, you'll see like it's not taking so much time. It's Cambridge here, then showing the property of interest. Here I have only one other property in this location, so it's not a long list as the other one. So it depends on what the user chose as the main property of interest. We are getting the data, and the data can be different. So you can see the benefit of using it. It's very quick and give us consistency, and it will increase the velocity of the sales people when they are talking or following up with emails with other people regarding their calls or their interest about something specific. So I want to check here the chat. I think we have some questions. Okay, so which dev org? That takes me to my next step. So as I mentioned, like I was using I initially I started creating the new dev org that has data cloud and Agentforce to be able like to demo it for you. But I found out that it doesn't have the sales email template as an option in the prompt builder. Like when I go to prompt builder and I try new prompt template, when I tried it, I didn't see sales email as an option. So what I used is the following. I used this Trailhead. Let me give you the URL here. This Trailhead, when you open it, it will give you an option to create an org. It's usually expire after 5 days. So you can, if you decide to follow or try the example we will be doing, create this org, prepare it, like have this org before. I don't think we'll have the time to implement the prompt, the invocable method today. So maybe before Thursday, maybe on Wednesday, create your org, or Thursday morning. So you will have 5 days. Create the playground. This one will allow you to have sales email prompts. And this is the org that I'm currently using. It will expire before our next session. I'll create a new one. So that's the first step I did. The second step, I wanted to use an app that Salesforce is making it available for us, which is the Dreamhouse sample app. And that's what I installed as well in this playground. If you go down here, and let me put this in the chat for you as well. You will have a GitHub file that will tell you how to install the package. I used the unlocked package. I followed the link in the org that I created. So I followed first this, the first one to create the playground, then the second one that I shared to install the package and having it ready. When you follow the steps, you will end up with an org that will allow sales email template, and you will end up with an org that has the Dreamhouse app, so you can follow along and do the same example with me next time. Next time, we'll see together how we can enable the Einstein setup, what we need to do to have like the option to create sales email, because there is a step to turn on sales email. We'll see it together. And then we'll start creating our prompt and see without the Apex grounding, what's the maximum we can do. Then what we'll do, we'll create our invocable method and expose it to the prompt and start using it in the prompt and see how the output. I hope the session was useful. Again, we'll start with this example next time. We'll spend the whole time creating the template, creating the invocable method, explaining the different parameters that we need to pass and make sure it's very clear for everyone. But in the meantime, prepare your orgs, have the playground ready, install the app, and if you want to give it a go ahead and try to do it as a homework, please feel free to do that, and we'll continue the rest. Thank you so much for everyone who joined the session today. And for anyone who's watching the video online, I hope you enjoyed the session, you learned something new. I'll be waiting for you to send me any questions you have before next session, either on LinkedIn or on Slack for Code with Sally. And I hope if you like the video, to give it a like and to share it with others and subscribe on the channel. And I will see you next Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time to implement this exciting sales email template with Invocable Method. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for everyone, and enjoy your week.